Hey, my name's Jack, and the Bloodlines have been released. We have exactly 9 out of 10 of the Bloodlines. We know what to do. And the reason why the 10th one is missing is because I think it's the one from the new boss. So, starting at the ones that we got from the announcement page, let's take a look. So, this one is from the Trialmaster, and he's gonna give corrupted stuff. It gives Shepherd of Lost Souls, Everlasting Sacrifice, and Sacrifice of Blood if at least 4, 6, and 8 of your items are corrupted, which are equipped to you. And Shepherd of Souls is Wall non-aura skills require 80% less souls. Wall non-aura skills require 100% increased souls per wall skill used in the past second. So that's really good. With this, you can basically spam wall skills and get them back way faster. Everlasting Sacrifice, when you reach full energy shield, sacrifice all energy to gain +5 to all maximum resistance for 4 seconds. That's actually very good, especially when you have low values of energy shield. Let's say you have like 30 energy shields. You get any kind of like energy shield region or energy shield leech somewhere, you will pretty much permanently have +5 to all maximum resistances if you can re-reach that 30 energy shield within 4 seconds, right? So really good one, actually. Sacrifice of Blood, life recovery from regeneration grants blood barrier while on full life. Maximum blood barrier is equal to 30% of your life. Damage from hits is taken from blood barrier before your life or energy shield. 50% less life regeneration rate. So that is actually amazing, especially when you combine life regen with life leech, because then you just have permanent 30% extra maximum life, which acts as a barrier before you take damage to your actual life. And then your normal life, you just life leech, right? So really good, really good note actually, especially for somebody who enjoys slamming Vol skill, Vol gems on everything. Then we have a multiple choice note called Deceitful 7, that's out of the top left. Priest of Yalmak. 30% reduced soul gain prevention duration, that's already very good. Vol skills require 30% less souls per use, amazing. Vol skills have 20% chance to regain consumed souls when used, wow. So this is again like you having more uptime on your boss skill and being able to use it more. You can actually stack reduced soul gain prevention duration until you get so low that you can immediately regain souls for your boss skill gem again. Builds like this already exist. Priest of Kopak, Val skills you 1% more damage per soul required. That is a lot of extra damage. Val skills require 40% increased souls per use. Okay, so we're already scaling the more damage basically with that. Val skills can store +1 use. That's amazing, especially for bosses where there's not a lot of souls to be gained. You can farm your stuff, get in there, and use your Val skill multiple times with more damage. While skills have 50% increased skill effect duration, have 50% increased area of effect, 50% increased effect of auras from your wall skills. This includes, I think, Val Cold Snap. I think it's like Righteous Fire. It works as an aura, right? So that will be bigger. It will be there longer, in the area of effect of Val skills will also be bigger. So this one's not quite as good as the other ones, but it's still good. Let's see what we have next. We have Oshabi. Primal Owl. Unsealed spells gain 5% more damage each time they reoccur. Skills supported by Unleash have +3 to maximum number of seals. There's some builds which really love this because they're trying to like super burst damage a certain spell out as fast as possible. And then gaining 5% more damage for each reoccurrence is actually very good, because normally when you take Unleash, you do less damage the more you reoccur, right? So this one's actually very good. The Wild Bear, +20 to maximum rage, amazing. Lose all rage when reaching maximum rage, and gain adrenaline for 1 second per 10 rage lost this way. This is a godly note. You need only 2 ascendancy points to get here. This is godly because this gives you permanent adrenaline. If you can gain rage fast enough, which like any berserker, or if you're playing Rage Vortex or something like that, you can gain rage so fast, and this will give you permanent rage. For 1 second per 10 rage, the normal limit for rage is 30. You can then push it to like 50, and this will be 70, right? So 7 seconds. You can regain rage fast enough that you can hit that limit in 7 seconds. Permanent adrenaline. Adrenaline is very, very good. It gives you 100% increased damage, 25% increased attack, castle, and movement speed, 10% additional physical damage reduction. Godly note. The Vivid Cat. Elusive has 50% chance to be removed from you at 100% effect, and then 50% increased stealth while elusive. Elusive is mostly on the shadow side of the tree. Elusive initially grants 50% chance to avoid all damage from hits, and increase 30% movement speed. The buff reduces its effect over time, removing itself as 0% effect. Okay. So the reason why this is good is because you gain elusive, right? It's at 100% effect and has an immediate chance to remove itself again, which lets you regain elusive. So if you're lucky enough, you just permanently like regain 100% effect elusive. And then if you're not lucky, you gain 50% increased stealth. So stealth is like super obscure mechanic that almost nobody knows about. It basically reduces the aggression radius of the monster, so then when you walk towards a monster, it takes longer for a monster to notice you or to even basically attack you, because you're right, the aggression radius is not there, so it won't attack you, right? That's basically what that is. This node isn't amazing, but it's not bad either. Elusive is kind of a wonky layer of defense because it's unreliable. So I wouldn't say this node is super good, but it's somewhere in the middle, right? Let's go over to this guy. I forgot his name. He is from Affliction. Unlike Silhouette, skills gain added chaos damage equal to 10% of life cost. If life cost is not higher than the maximum you could spend. Okay, so it prevents you from costing more life than your maximum life pool, basically. But this is really good if you have skills which have a life cost, like Reap, or specifically Dark Pact is also very good with this if you self-cast it. This will probably be a big damage addition, especially when you stack life. Like the life stacker Reap, for example, would probably benefit from this a lot. Then you could scale more with chaos damage as well. Skills gain a base life cost equal to 1% of mana cost. Okay, so it just turns every skill into life cost as well. So you can do this with anything if you wanted to. There's probably going to be some very interesting combinations with this. This seems really build enabling. Very good node. Then we have 3 choices. So one of these they're all the downsides, but they give you upsides. Unaffected by curses, but you can't use amulets. Unaffected by poison, utility flux are disabled. This is horrible. Don't take this. You can get immunity on utility flux by a singular suffix. Unaffected by bleeding, same, just like bleeding is very easily removable. And you gain +1 ring. So I would, from all of these, I would probably take amulet because being unaffected by curses is actually pretty good. And then 1 ring slot, so you have 3 rings, and you would have -1 amulet. There are certain builds which don't really care about the amulet. I mean, the anoint on the amulet is really good, of course. and all of the like stuff that the amulet gives, but you can do some very specific things with this. And this is, I think, once again build enabling, and there's probably going to be some interesting stuff coming out of this. So these were the Bloodlines which were initially showed. Now we have the ones that just got released today. We have the Animus Farrul. He got Primal Roar, increased attack speed per minion up to a maximum of 80%. Minions deal 80% increased damage if you have Warcried recently. Attack speed per minion up to 80%. 80% is actually a good amount, but this is still increased, and that is also increased damage. It's kind of, I don't know, this node seems bad to me. And then down here, maximum spectre and minion life. So we have a small node that gives you maximum number of race spectre. That's already a good sign, and this is an amazing small node. Probably the best small node we've seen in these. Farrul will race beast specters have Farrul's Farrul presence. Race beast specters have 3 additional modifiers randomly chosen in each area. Farrul's Farrul presence is an aura which grants 80% increased accuracy rating and 120% increased critical strike chance and take no extra damage from critical hits. So these 3 additional modifiers, it really depends on what these modifiers actually are. What does it mean, modifier? Does it mean like monster modifiers? Because then it's amazing. Then this is like godly, right? Then each one of these 3 is godly. Because if you could gain the one that gives you Soul Eater, for example, that's a monster modifier. Amazing. It could also mean that this means beast, like bestiary modifiers, which is also good. There's also some very good bestiary modifiers in there. Farrul's Farrul presence is, I mean, 80% increased accuracy is kind of confusing because minions just got a big buff in which they don't use accuracy anymore, so all minion builds have been buffed. And then 100% increased critical strike chance, it's not bad, but take no extra damage from critical hits is definitely good. Some builds, I think especially summon builds, struggle with this, trying to maximize this, so it's not bad at all. Fertile will raise respect at Farrul's Fertile Presence. Fertile's Presence is 100% increased damage, regenerate 3% of life per second, and cannot be stunned. Godly. Like, free cannot be stunned, like, no downside. Amazing. Just amazing in every way. If you are a caster, I might actually think about taking this, even if like you don't care about minions, just simply for the cannot be stunned. But then you have to weigh between your ascendancy and the bloodline ascendancy, because remember, you have to use your 8 ascendancy points that you were given between your ascendancy class and the bloodline. And next, Wild Will, Farrul's Wild Presence, and it gives 30% increased attack, cast, and movement speed, and prevents action speed from being lowered below base value. That's actually really good, because this includes like slow effects like from Maven and Shaper and stuff, right? And like slow effects from rare modifiers and stuff like that. That all counts towards action speed. And if you can be lowered below base value, you can only go up. So, which means that if you're always at base value, you can never get slowed by anything. And that's actually very, very good. Because running is the best layer of defense, basically. Not getting hit is a lot of running. Hunt Leader, trigger level 20, summon Spectral Trigger and critical strike. Okay, so this is summon Spectral Wolf as an Ascendancy bloodline, except different. Summon a Spectral Tiger Companion that attacks nearby enemies and dies after a duration. Okay, so exactly like Spectral Wolf, each Spectral Tiger grants you a buff that increases critical strike chance and increases attack and cast speed. If you have a maximum number of them, refreshes the duration and life of an existing one instead. So if you've ever played Summon Spectral Wolf, you definitely want to take this. This Ascendancy is for you. Next up, we have Herald Lycia. see what you got. Bitter Heresy, create Profane Ground instead of Consecrated Ground. Profane Ground you create inflicts malediction on enemies. Profane Ground you create also inflicts you and your allies granting Chaotic Might. So from the top to the bottom, Profane Ground gives you 10% increase critical strike chance, and curses have 10% increase effect on them. Malediction causes 10% reduced damage dealt and 10% increased damage taken. Chaotic Might gives you 30% of physical damage and extra chaos damage. This is not a good note, this is a bad note. Profane Ground is not that strong. And like Chaotic Might you can get somewhere else. And Malediction is like it's okay, it's not amazing, like it's not worth a Bloodline Ascendancy note. Then down here, Herald buff effect, 20% increased effect of Herald buffs on you. And then we go down to Farewell to Flesh. Herald skill had 2% more buff effect for every 1% of maximum mana they reserve. Ooh. Alright, so this is a big Herald stacker thing. 2% like it's more buff effect. That's amazing. Herald skills and minions from Herald skills do 1% more damage for every 1% of maximum life those skills reverse. So you might think, okay, now I don't have mana or life. But then you remember that you can put on a Chevron and you can just have Energy Shield instead. And then you can allocate Pain Attunement, which gives you more spell damage. So you always count as being on low life. This is actually really huge for Herald stackers. You can definitely do some stuff with this. And that's gonna, I think this is a huge damage increase. Smaller remote is Redundant Sinner Saint. 50% of lightning damage converted to chaos. Cold Fire converted to chaos damage. Absolutely amazing, especially if you're running Chaos Inoculation. That is free EHP. Amazing node. Amazing node in every way. Especially because it stacks with other ones of the same like modifier, right? Like convert to chaos. There's some, I think there's some other ones which actually do have that. Then the Imposter from Delirium. Manic Episodes grants level 1 Embrace Madness skill while affected by Glorious Madness, inflicting mania on them by enemies every second. Alright. Grants Glorious Madness while under Glorious Madness gains a random touch debuff every 2 seconds. So these are the debuffs from Delirium specifically. Using this skill again will remove Glorious Madness and the touch debuffs it inflicts, but you will be unable to embrace Madness again until the cooldown expires. Okay. Mania applies 4% increased damage taken, 2% reduced action speed, and 10% reduced life. And initiate recovery rate for 15 seconds and can be inflicted up to 15 times. Okay, so at maximum stacks, which is 15, that's 30% reduced action speed, which is a lot. That's a lot. That would like slow like any monster that survives that long is most likely going to be a rare. And this actually counteracts Soul Eater monsters and other stuff that is like way too fucking fast. What is very interesting, it gives 10% reduced life per stack, so that would be 150% reduced life. The question is, what exactly does it mean life? Is it maximum life? Does it drain like a dot? It's kind of unclear here. But there's also energy shield recovery rate, which is also very good. There's some monsters which have the energy shield rare modifiers, which make them very tanky. So that's going to be down there. And then increased damage taken is 60%, which is also very, very good. Good note if you can deal with the downside of the touch debuffs. Then down here to Schizophrenic Dissociation, that's a word. Take 40% less damage from hits. That's absolutely godly. That's insane. That's one of the most insane insanity notes I've ever seen. But I can already tell there's gonna be something bad here. 4 seconds after each hit you take, lose life equal to 40% of the damage taken from that hit. Of course, they had to build in a downside. Non-cluster jewels socketed in your passive skill tree have no. that's a counter to Adorned and like Megalomaniac and stuff like that. It's like specifically Actually, wait, no, it's non-cluster jewels, so Megalomaniac is fine. So it's specifically a Dawn fuck you. 4 seconds after each hit you take, lose life equal to 40% of the damage taken from that hit. This is super preventable. You can definitely do stuff with like Petrified Blood and like Dissolution of Flesh and Defiance of Destiny, and you can just get a huge AHP pool because 40% net damage taken from hits is a ridiculous amount. That is crazy. Like, this is one of the few nodes where I will say it's so good. I'm actually not upset it has a downside. It's that good. Next up, hallucinogenic tendencies. We also get 50% increased cooldown recovery, which is really rare modifier. Grants level 20 Misty Reflection skill. Dash backwards, leaving a short-lived Misty copy of yourself. The copy can be damaged by enemies, and copies that are killed by enemy will apply a debuff in an area that makes affected targets take 30% increased damage and deal 30% less. Ooh, for 4 seconds, that's 30% less damage. That's a lot. That's a huge amount actually. This is really, really good in like almost every scenario because the damage reduction is so high for the enemies. It also puts it in an area, which means multiple monsters are gonna be affected, not just one. That is like amazing for almost everything. Like, it's good for bossing, it's good for clearing. I would put it on pretty much anything. But I do wonder how it specifically affects bosses, because there's some boss abilities, and if you debuff the boss, does it not, like, for example, the Searing Exile, right? Let's say we use this, we use it, and we hit one of the balls. It hits one of the balls during ball phase, right? The balls now do less damage because Searing Exile does the balls, or does it count as like an arena effect of a Searing Exile, but it's not directly from the entity that is Searing Exile, right? It's like convoluted a bit. Like, there's like multiple instances like this. Like, Sirius has these like phases where he's invulnerable. Is he still affected by this? Probably not. So it probably wouldn't work. But nonetheless, this is really, really good still. Overall, this bloodline in general is very good. Lich Catarina. Umbral Army. Increased attack and cast speed per summon Raging Spirit. Oh, that's actually very good. There's a lot of Raging Spirits. Increased attack damage per race zombie 15%. Oh, you can get like 12 zombies. That's actually amazing. Increased defenses per race specter. That is global defenses. That includes everything. That's... I mean, specters are not that high, like the maximum number that often. It's like 4 or 5, right? Maybe 6. Still, that is definitely good. 2% increased movement speed per summon Phantasm. Sure. 6% increased spell damage per summon Skeleton. So, specifically for Skeleton Mages. This is like very good if you have like all of these minions. So you get like all of the modifiers. It's a good note. It's not amazing. It's good. Prolonged Servitude. Minions deal 50% more damage while they're on low life. Minions cannot be killed, but die 6 seconds after being reduced to 1 life. Your minions are like, I didn't hear no bell. That's actually amazing, especially for bossing, when you have like minions that you resummon, like raging spirits, or phantasms, or skeletons, like anything that dies really easily. Spectral wolves, right? The spiders as well, like, they just stay longer and they deal 15% more damage. That's really, really good. Amazing note. Offering skills have 20% increased duration. That's definitely very good. Death Offering, 50% increased effect of offering. Offerings kill affected damageable targets when offering duration expires. So that's a big downside for any permanent minions like specters, zombies, stuff like that, right? But stuff that you can resummon fast, or that like summons itself basically, that's amazing. Like Raging Spirits benefits from this a lot. And if you combine this with Necromancer, which already gives you increased effect of offering, your minion's gonna go crazy. They're gonna like, they're gonna be over this. They're gonna be over the enemies like they spend too much time on TikTok. So definitely amazing node. Oh, they cannot mix Primordial Night All. Charge. Oh, it's based on charges. The King's Contempt Discipline is 50% increased our effect while you have no power charges. Wrath has 50% increased our while you have maximum power charges. That's horrible. You can't have both. It's impossible, right? You can't be at maximum and no charges at the same time. So this is a choose me, like choose your own adventure. And it's 50% increased aura effect, which is, remind yourself that one of the masteries from the aura mastery is 10% increased effect of your auras. It's definitely good, but not the way this is presented. These are all bad. I'm very willing to say. You have to choose, and like choosing having no charges is horrible. You always want to be at maximum charges. Every build benefits from having maximum endurance, frenzy, and power charges. This is not good. Increase global defenses. Okay. Precursor release. Action speed cannot be modified to below base value. If you have equipped boots with no socket, no. No, that's horrible. That's horrible. It like part of Exile 1 is all about socketing gems. Okay, this isn't part of Exile 2 where you have your gems in like a separate like tab and it doesn't affect your equipment anymore. Action speed cannot be modified, cannot be stunned for no helmet gems. Elemental ailments cannot be inflicted for no body. What? Your body armor is your 6-link. You need that in almost every build. The only builds that can free up a 6-link are like two-handed builds, like bow builds or like melee builds who use two-handed weapons. That's crazy. And you can get elemental ailment immunity way easier. Way easier. That is horrible. Take no extra damage from critical strikes. No. This is a very bad note. Don't take this ever. This entire bloodline is bad. And once again, nobody does the elf. Runesmith Olroth. Expedition. Boon of the Mountain. Okay, so this is a triple choice, so I'll start here. Boon of the River, 5% chance to restore your ward on hit. Oh, this is ward related. That's actually very good. Because it says restore your ward, which means all of it, I'm guessing. And there are ward loop builds. Oh, this is like ward loop interactions. This is really fucking good, actually. Boon of the Mountain, 30% less damage taken from damage all the time while you have unbroken ward. So that's one of the things that ward is actually struggling with. So that's very, very good. Boon of the Sun, 20% faster restoration of ward per enemy hit taken recently. Wow, these are all amazing. Like all three of them. This is like, if you play like a Waterloo build, this is so fucking good. And then down here we go to enhance Starlight. Damage taken bypasses unbroken ward. If the hit deals less damage than 50% of ward, 40% increased ward from equipped armor items. Wow, that's really good. This is like, this actually prevents one-shots, right? Because you lose your ward, and then, right, any damage that overflows from ward, I don't think goes over to life. So this actually would prevent a one-shot. That's actually very, very good. And then the reason why it has this first modifier, so it doesn't trigger on like so many small hits. So you still like are survivable. Just when that one big attack comes, it hits the ward instead. That's very good. Trigger level 20 ward shatter when your ward breaks. explodes when your ward is broken, dealing physical spell damage around you equal by a percentage of your ward and inflict an evasion on hit. A debuff that lowers movement speed to 20% and prevents life and energy shield recovery for 4 seconds. That's actually good. That's very good. This seems like almost build enabling, where you can purposefully break your ward to do damage around you. This might be very good together with a retaliation build. I think this node, like this entire ascendancy, is just absolutely amazing. And those were the 9 bloodlines that we have seen so far. And I'd say, except one, these all look amazing. They're all like super build enabling, super good, just overall great design. I'll be looking forward for what the last one is, which is probably gonna be the new boss. Until then, see you around. If you like, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Bye.